Alright guys, we are live. Welcome to the first official, well, technically it's the second, but it's the actual first official Dopelives podcast. Um, yes, so we've got myself, SoulSilver, and Lexi. We'll be trying to get to you try at least once a month, maybe more, depending on what happens. Hopefully you can hear Lexi in the background. I believe you can, because these settings are right. And we'll go from there. I might just turn you up anyway, just a tiny bit anyway, and I'll turn the game down a little bit later. Alright, cool. So, as you can probably guess... Oh god, what? Sorry guys, I've just been distracted by my cats. Spinning around in circles, chasing their tails. So welcome to the tone of this podcast. So as you can probably guess, we're playing Anno 2070, just as a bit of background filler and whatnot, so you'll probably see us playing badly, since both of us haven't played that much of it. And... Lexi's hosting, so whenever she's ready, she'll hit go, and we'll start.
Let's go! We're playing on a continuous map, so there's not too much of a rush to do anything, but we do have like an AI guy who possibly may kick our asses.
Maybe,
that
yeah.
could happen.
I don't know. We're still learning how to play. Cool.
Har.
Fiddle-dee-dee indeed. But yeah, so we decided to do this podcast because we thought a bit of fun, something different. People can watch it on YouTubes or wherever the hell we put it up. And just to let people know what's going on, or even just to have thoughts and opinions on different things that are happening in the chat. So, this podcast has been done on, well, at least my time. It may be a day earlier for Lexi, but it's been done on the 18th of the 7th, 2014, just so you got a reference for your time, guys.
It is.
And, yeah, so, first of all, we're going to be talking about a few different topics today. We've already kind of talked about what the podcast is about, so you'll probably see how it goes later on. Feel free to...
So official this time, we actually pre-planned the topics.
Yep. Occasionally we may do it live, like the first one, but we'll go from there as to whenever that happens. But the list of what we're trying to do today is basically just current projects that ourselves and other streamers are doing, just so people know who's doing what, who is supposedly doing what, officially. We're talking about something that's only just happened with us within the last couple of days, which is LewishM retiring from streaming, or at least for the time being. Whether or not that's permanent or not, we will never know, at least not for another while. The next another topic we got is how lewd is too lewd to stream on the channel.
That's because of you and your secure spirit streams.
Well, yeah, true. Well, it's not just me, but yes, that's probably brought it to the head. The funny thing is, I actually suggested this topic too. And then the next one, which kind of is like that, which kind of helps with a couple other people, is, better hit start mission, is how much is too much of a project to stream? And then after that, which we have talked about this a few different times, is... in channel but not officially on the podcast, is it the game or the streamer that makes a game interesting? And as a subtopic on that, are all games streamable?
Because personally I'm not sure.
Cool. Alright, so how do I move the screen again? This is how long it's been since I've played this and how new we are at the game. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
The middle, the arrows.
The arrows.
Yeah, I think we should definitely start with Lewish saying fuck everything, I'm going.
Alright then.
Pretty...
Okay, we'll go with that then, guys. So, so for those who don't know, and those who've been just only watching us on YouTube or whatever, basically, LewishM has decided that, at least for now, he is retiring, which is kind of a shame, because I enjoyed watching his streams, and I think nearly everybody did, to a certain degree. But then I suppose in the end it's his choice. From what I understand, it was basically just because he had a different opinion on how he wanted the community to grow, and that, and also being a bit burnt out. Or at least from my point of view and from what I've talked to people, Lexi's kind of in the same boat too. She only has heard bits and pieces from it, so
yeah.
I mean, it is a shame. I mean, it would be nice if he kept going, but I can understand why, if he's feeling burnt out or whatever, that he doesn't want to do anymore.
I think on his forum post he was saying like he gives up his free time, and it was a bit like, well, we all do. What's your point, Lewish? And I think he said something like the chat was not the quality that he wants to stream to anymore. He doesn't enjoy streaming, and you know, if that's the case, then why do it?
Yeah.
Why keep doing something you don't enjoy?
Yeah, no,
It's ridiculous.
I'm kind of with there too. I do agree with him in that regard. I mean, I've in the our unofficial first podcast or whatever. I think one of the topics we had was why I think because it's made and it's part. Well, actually, it has got a lot to do with the time that I stream because for most people, it's usually early morning European or late evening American. So unfortunately, we don't get as many people around my time zone happening all the time, and that's kind of like it. Sometimes it feels like nobody's watching, even though there's people in the chat going on like that, and I can kind of understand what he's comes from in that regard. But at the same time, it's also another one of those things where I can kind of understand where it's coming from in that regard. At the same time, it's like chat to a degree will always be chat. It's something that there is, to be fair, maybe some things in chat that need to be fixed or could be handled a lot better. I mean, maybe, I mean, I do understand there are a couple of toxic people in the community, and I'll put my hand up saying that I can be a fuckwit sometimes with the way that I moderate and joke kicks.
Yeah, we had a few controversies recently. With you, didn't we? You kicking people who were streaming SoulSilver.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I talked to Sir Anderson about it, and if you were watching in context of the stream, it actually was a joke kick that he was in on, but he understood where I was coming from, but he did say that he'd prefer me not to do it, but he did understand why. So it's one of those chicken and the egg things. You got to take that into context to a degree, but ideally, yes, I should not be doing that unless someone actually does deserve to be kicked. So, I put my hand up on that going, nope, I fucked up. I was being a fuckwit in that regard. So, but I've apologised for it, and obviously I can't guarantee it won't be 100% that I won't ever do it again, but I can promise you that I will try to lessen the chance of that happening in the future. But yeah, that's that's partially because of that. But yeah, no.
It's all water under the bridge now, huh?
Yeah, all water under the bridge. Look, I mean, I think, to be fair, I've got a feeling that Fate Weaver, one of our mods, could be a little bit sore about it, but I don't know, it could also be that he's just not been there when I've tried to talk to him about it, so, but he'll let me know when he's ready, so, but that's the thing, though, I think it's kind of, that probably didn't help with the LewishM stuff, but I think it was a lot more in that regard, too. It was just like I was saying, I think he just ended up being burnt out because of all the times that he was streaming, and it didn't seem to be getting at least enough love back from the community for him to wonder whether or not it was worth him to keep on doing it.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Why would you bother?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Look, I hope he does come back because it's great to have him. It's always great to have a difference of opinion, good and bad, because that's how the community grows, on learning what works best for the community. But yeah, if he's basically got to come back and if he feels it's worth it to do it, then all the best to him. If not, well, then he's still hanging around in chat anyway. So hello to him, guys. If you do join us from YouTube, he'll be quite happy to join in, play games, whatever. As I said, look, we might on a future episode we might have him back on, talking to us as to why he wants to do it. But I think at this stage, kind of because it's fresh, and kind of because, well, we want to let him decide what he wants to do with the future. We're going to just giving him that space he needs and to decide that final answer if he hasn't. So cool.
Exactly, we're not mean.
Yep. I mean, I don't know. Look, this is me. Look, I know I can be obnoxious and a bit loud, but I don't want to. I'm always attempt to be on good terms with everyone. That doesn't always work, but I attempt to be. So, but it's all good from there. At least I try to. Herp derp. Anyway, so yeah, any more thoughts you want to throw onto that, or you just basically want to? Yeah.
No, I think. I mean, if he doesn't want to stream, it's fine for him. Just don't stream, dude. Do it, dude. Live and let live. I mean, I enjoy streaming, whether or not there are people watching, and some people like yourself, don't necessarily feel the same way, and you know, that's fine. Each to their own. But you know, I think Lewish's one of the thrusts of Lewish's argument was that he felt that the chat was becoming, I think his words were toxic. So I'm not sure how people feel about that. I know there's a discussion going on in the forums about things about the following in that regard anyway, about whether or not chat is becoming too toxic. But I think the conclusion that people were reaching is that people being nostalgic and overly nostalgic was really detrimental. Like, people seriously need to stop saying, like, oh, things were so good in the old days. And it's just not the case.
Yeah,
things are, yeah.
I'm with you there too, though. They were just as bad.
Yeah, things are.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
It was a different time. Yeah, they were just as bad, just in a different way. In all fairness,
exactly.
So. I mean, the people will disagree with us on this, but that's their prerogative if they want to do it that way. Oh, that's why I was not getting anything happening. I was wondering why I wasn't building anything. It turns out I needed a basalt extractor. Well, I think I need one, otherwise I've just screwed up whatever. Anyway, cool. Alright, but we'll leave it at there for now. I mean, look, as I said, look, if LewishM does want to comment on this on podcast, or then we're quite happy to have him on and want to do with it. I mean, it won't just be Lexi and I on podcasts all the time. We will try to get guests when we can, but obviously depends on everyone's schedule and whatnot, and who has what game we're playing in the background too. So, but we'll go from there.
Yes.
Cool. But anyway, so that means that there'll be a couple of projects up for grabs and everything. So we'll probably just talk about what the current projects and stuff are on. I know with myself, the main ones I'm trying to get out of the way at the moment are Killer is Dead and Sakura Spirits. I have kind of tentatively picked up Outcast, that XP Holmes requested quite a few times in the request thread. Yes, we do have one of those guys, if you don't know. I still need to figure out how to get that into window mode, but just let me Alt-Tab here so I can go back to projects, so you won't see anything happening too much in the game at the moment. But according to the official list of things that are meant to be happening, we've got IH, that's mainly doing the Metal Gear games. That includes Ground Zeroes, which I believe he's done at some stage. We've got Sweet Pea, who's doing Among the Sleep, Ogre Battle 64, and Wasteland 2, when that comes out fully, not the beta copy that's out now, but full copy. And we all know he's been doing Morrowind at the moment, but I think I speak for everyone where...
we're going to talk about that afterwards.
I mean, we'll talk about that too. But and then we've got Weevil, who's supposedly doing Watch Dogs, but I don't know if he has started it yet or not.
I haven't seen a Weevil stream in ages.
Yeah, I'd love to see him stream some more, but I mean, my problem obviously with a lot of these streams is that I'm just not on at the right time. But yeah, no, I wouldn't mind seeing it, because when he was doing Assassin's Creed, I enjoyed watching that. That actually kind of got me into wanting to play Assassin's Creed, in all fairness. Well, part of the reason. And then we got to Assassin's Creed 3, and then my interest in the series died after that because of how boring the main character was. But that's a completely different issue. We've got Boomer, who's got no set project, although I know he's been streaming a bit of Rise of Nations with me recently. So, and that's not a bad game for those who haven't played. That's basically...
Oh, really? I haven't caught that.
Yeah, he's done a couple of multiplayer streams. He's done it mainly with us versing doing comp stomps, but for those who don't know, it basically is, in a nutshell, Age of Empires meets Civilization. So it actually works out quite well. Give it a try. There's a special edition on Steam if you wanted to pick it up, called the Extended Edition, which comes with the expansion as well. So it's fairly cheap, and you can buy it in 4-packs if you want to get it cheaper, and you have a few other guys that are interested in joining it too. Then next on we've got Dark Zoma, which according to this is still doing the Golden Sun series, the original one, and the Lost Age after that, because unfortunately Dark Zoma hasn't been doing too much streaming recently. I haven't seen much of what he's been doing, if he's got any other projects going on. I know he's been doing bits and pieces and stuff like that of other things.
Yeah, I find it really hard to catch American streams. I never ever managed to catch one.
Yeah. If you're up late or up early, then yeah, it's all good. I mean, Dark Zoma is a good streamer to do. He's kind of in the same position as I am, where depending on what game it is... Oh, what's happening?
My game's frozen as well.
Okay, it's waiting for players.
Did you crash?
No,
Oh
but
god.
I had alt tabbed, so that might be why it's.
Oh
thinking
god.
of-
You've killed us.
Oh god. Well, I don't know what's going on. All right. Well, while we're waiting for things to connect, it should. I'll just send a message here.
Okay.
All right. Can you see that text? Because if you can see that text, then I. Okay.
Network error occurred.
Oh boy.
Synchronized games. There we go. That should fix it.
Okay.
Apparently we can go back to Assault. It doesn't matter. We'll just, if that happens again, we'll just have to do that. Just try not to alt tab too much if you can.
Okay. I'll try not to. Yeah. I mean, I suppose this is just happening a bit because I'm trying to look at this list.
It's straight internet. There's
I-
kangaroos chewing on the cables again.
That probably doesn't help either. But yeah, no, Dark Soma, yeah, no, if you can catch him, he's good. He has got the same issue that I have, where it's like we can only, well, it's still fairly decent quality. With he can rarely get 720p streams. It all depends on the game, and whatnot. But it's still worth watching. Still good quality. Still great games. He tends to do older
I
games.
thought you meant quality of streamer for a second there. I thought you were
No.
going to start rating people.
No, I'm
I was
talking.
going to say, that could be a contentious issue.
No.
Start rating.
Well, to be fair, it is always a contentious issue, and everybody's list of favourite streamers is always going to be different. So,
Yeah, exactly.
look, if this starts us again from the beginning of the game, then hey, whatever.
I should hope not. No, there we go.
Okay, yeah, not too far off. Cool. All right. And then we've got my list, which is kind of a list of shame. I did kind of mention that I'm doing Killer is Dead, the Sakura Spirit, and trying to get Outlast working, but also on my list I've got Icewind Dale 2, which I kind of started ages ago, but it's at the stage where I think I'm going to have to restart it from the beginning.
Are you going to use people's voices again?
Yeah, that was the plan. So that's the thing. There's a lot of the chats changed, so it's kind of like, well, I kind of need to get
Exactly.
people to go that. So why isn't this thing that Build Productions? Oh, okay. I see what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, I keep forgetting that there's add-on stuff.
I'm still doing the Dopelives for people who are wondering. I just don't have as much time as I used to, so I can't always be streaming. But I also started doing Psychonauts as a one-off, but I think I'm going to have to continue that because people were really interested in seeing that played through, I think. Also, my sister's finished it. It's one of the few games my sister's finished that I haven't, so there's like a sibling thing going on there, I think.
Yeah, no,
I've got to finish it now.
Yeah, no, it is a great game from what I understand.
Have you not played it?
I know I've played it, but yeah, I just left it at kind of watching it and things like that too, because I've got Star Trek. Okay.
Are you okay?
Oh no, sorry. I just kind of got. Sorry, guys. Like, this will happen every now and then, but I got kind of distracted from stuff with trying to figure out how to do.
Pirates shouldn't be too bad, I hope.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, so what the? Oh yeah, no, it's all good. I just was trying to figure out how to do stuff in the game. Yeah, but yeah, no, Psychonauts is meant to be a good game. Tim Schafer, if you aren't aware, I think most people will be. Yeah, I know. I've seen it streamed a couple of times yourself, and I think Poe did it at some stage, but I think it's been that long. People are quite.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. People were saying Poe's done it before, and I was like, when? I wasn't around.
Yeah, no, it was ages ago. So, yeah, so it's ages ago. No, I don't want to trade back into there. But yeah, no, it's been happened that long since it's worth another restream, depending on what's happening. And oh god, what shit! I've done something in the game. Oh no, okay, no, I haven't done anything in the game. But yeah, definitely worth a restream. So.
Okay. I'm looking. Well, I enjoyed the first stream I did of it, but I did so much in the first stream I kind of got burnt out a bit. Even though it was just one, I did so much.
But yeah, no, that's always the downside though. Sometimes you get a really good game and then you do burn yourself out a little bit, and you're like, you're trying to figure out what to do next with it. So, but no, that's all right. I need more eco workers apparently. Apparently, eco workers wants to make coffee. Oh no, tea. Okay, I don't know how.
Of course they do. They're hipsters.
Oh, I know. It's a special herbal blend of tea. Okay. Cool. Alright then, so yeah, so that was that one. I mean, I've still got a few more on my list. I think the thread is available, but if anyone is watching wants to know our whole entire list, my entire list, that's how big it is and how bad I've been at finishing games lately. To be fair though, some of these games I've been waiting on getting a new capture card in order to give them justice, instead of being this grainy picture on my current capture card, to actually, at the very least, do a quality, fairly decent looking 480p for you. But otherwise,
Yeah.
after that, because my current
I
capture...
suffer from similar issues, and I don't have, like, I can't do 720. I can't. I don't even have HD monitor, widescreen monitor.
Mm.
People get upset with me about that. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't afford one, so no.
Yeah. Oh no, that's okay. Look, as long as it comes, to be fair, as long as the stream comes across clearly, that's the important thing. I know some people bitch and moan that it's like, it's not 720p, but to be fair, unless you're watching it on a significant window on your screen, or you've got one of those you're streaming higher than watching, or if you've got a screen higher than 1080, you won't really notice much of a difference, because I've noticed most people still only end up watching it in a smaller window anyway. So it just, but that being said though, if it still comes across clearly, it doesn't matter what size your window's got. But if you can do 720p, it's great. But if you can't, it's like, well, okay, well, just try and make it look as good as you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but getting a little distracted there though. I think we've got Nuya trying to do more Zelda games, although at the moment he's doing more some speedrun, and I think he's starting to branch off into Monster Hunter with speedrun now. So if you guys
Monster Hunter speedrun?
or at least certain missions and stuff like that too.
Say
So
what?
I don't know. We'd have to talk to Nuya, but I think he last time I looked on his Twitter thing, he was talking about maybe speedrunning at least certain parts of Monster Hunter.
Okay.
But that should be all fine. But yeah, I don't know. We'll explain this a lot better, or he can, next time he's on, we can talk to him about it. What else? Yes, we got Scar. His only official project at the moment is Blood Ties, but he has been recently been trying to do, and I know people will bitch and moan about too much of this on stream, but he's been trying to do a no bonfire.
Dark Souls, yeah, I saw that today. Actually, it was good.
So if anyone can do it, then Scar can. I mean, I'm not doubting anyone else in the chat could, but it's basically Scar's type of game for that type of thing.
Yeah, great.
And then we'll just have to risk the Alt tab, and then okay, there we go. Do it quickly. So then we've got Ramstrong, who's apparently doing Xenonauts, and he's actually booked out the sequel to Planescape Torment, which I'm streaming the first one, but he's going to be streaming the second one from the looks of it, which should be fun because
Is that the Kickstarter one?
Yeah, that's the Kickstarter one. So it's not officially.
Oh, it's going to be really good.
It's not officially Dungeons and Dragons, but it's meant to be set kind of in a similar way. But for those who don't know, technically the universe that the original Planescape's based, the original Torment's based off, technically doesn't exist anymore. But
what do you mean?
Well, there was never a 4th edition in Dungeons and Dragons for it. They wrapped it up at the end of 2nd edition or something like that for reason, because they didn't want to move it into 3rd edition, which I personally believe is a bad mistake. But a lot of the mythology and everything for it was rolled into 3rd and 4th edition. So if you're looking at any of the god stuff in that, then chances are that's Planescape lore that you're looking at. So, but that's all. But that's all good though. Hopefully they kind of realise their folly and go, oh shit, we'll do a Planescape for our 5th edition. My favourite setting, the Dark Sun setting, which I don't often get to play often enough, that barely made it into 4th edition. So that's a good sign that they could be bringing back the other settings too. Because as fun as the default setting is, the Forgotten Realms setting is, it's nice to have other settings with their own fluff and everything in there too, in all personal.
Yeah, I played that Dark Sun campaign with you, I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fun, although admittedly, and I put my hand up for doing this, a bit like how this podcast is a lot better because we've done a bit of it. I probably did need a little bit more preparation than what I was giving it to make it shine. So, but that's something to learn for the future, which is Not too bad if we ever do some more campaigns. And on another distracted side note, more D&D. I can't at some stage there was D&D on stream, and I'm still waiting on Fate Weaver and all the others to let me know when, if at all, that thing's gonna happen, or if it's
fairly
ever happening
sure
again.
Fate Weaver's busy lately, but he's planning on getting started again. So, just insider tips for you there. I'm fairly sure that he's gonna be busy a lot this month, but next month maybe looking better.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, I'm happy that that's gonna happen. Obviously, because I don't know. Depending on who you like on that, it's I know Sorog's a fairly integral part of that experience, at least for some people. I'd consider myself that some people, but you kind of need that. You need all different types of characters, and it's always fun trying to play two characters at once. But that's now I shouldn't really be tooting my own horn there now. Actually, now it sounds like I'm fucking showing off.
Schizophrenic, can you talk?
Well, it wouldn't be too far off the truth, but oh well. No, it's actually not too bad though. Actually, no, I don't think I have got it. I've never been officially. You never know.
You're worried now. Yeah.
I am a little bit worried. Yeah, it always makes you think, but oh well. We'll be sorted. If I do have it, then I guess I do have it, but it's the first time I would have heard about it, and
This stream suddenly got so real. I was just making a joke, and now you're like, well, if I have schizophrenia...
So real, or
such is life.
Or is the stream now surreal?
Okay.
There we go, bad dad joke still happening. Cool. What else? Oh yeah, so we still got distracted. We got distracted by Torment. Yeah, so we've got Lunky. He's Lunky, I guess. He only really streams these days when Yade is available. But he doesn't have any official projects. Which is a shame, because Lunky does do good. A few streams I have caught of him, it has been good, but it's always fun if he has a lot of streams are always fun when you have a friend over, so when Yade's there, then you can actually hear what Yade sounds like. Apparently we've got IH playing Civilization 5. And then we've got Flippin. I know he's got a few projects, but he doesn't seem to have listed them at the moment, so I'm not sure whether or not they're just casual projects or projects at the moment. And one of our newer streamers, Wolf, I know he's been doing GTA 3 recently, after finishing San Andreas. He's also asked for a bit of feedback on how his driving is. So if you wanted to get him a bit of help, then go for that. Feel free, actually, in any case, if you do feel any of our streamers need feedback, feel free to actually tell them without having to wait for a thread, because sometimes we don't always know there's a problem until you actually tell us.
Yeah.
But that's real life anyway. After that, yes, Lexi's already mentioned her projects. You forgot about the cat lady too.
Oh yeah, I was working through the cat lady, and some people really didn't like that, and some people really did. It was very much a Marmite game. It was very weird, but I actually enjoyed playing it, so
yeah,
I'm probably gonna finish it.
From what I've seen, it actually seems like a fairly interesting point-and-click adventure game.
It was.
Yeah, I do like the psychological aspect that's thrown into it as well, so that kind of helps quite a bit too. And then I guess we'll round it out with... we'll round it out with Alfina. Apparently she's supposedly streaming The Wolf Among Us, but I remember watching her finishing it, so I guess she just hasn't had a chance to update that list yet, unless there's suddenly been an announcement for extra episodes that I don't know about. A game called Dream.
Could be.
I don't know what that's about, unfortunately, so I can't really go into it. Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. I think she's actually done bits and pieces of that, but I'm not sure if she's finished it or not. She's, unfortunately, with Lexi and I, we've got the same problem of not always being able to catch her due to time zones. And would also like to say hello to our newest streamer, Hitman Spike, who unfortunately doesn't have any official projects at the moment, so I can't tell you what's going on with that. All he's really been doing at the moment is multiplayer streams, which is fun. But when he gets a proper project ready to go, then then he'll probably start adding to that. So yeah, with a bit of...
I was going to say, I should actually mention, I did lapse in memory there, that we did recently, myself and Gregor and XFM, start the Dope Army community, which is essentially for people who want to play games with Dopelives people, but usually the larger scale games that require a little bit more coordination, shall we say, and less flurp that you usually see when Dopelives people get together and play video games. Although obviously we're not like super well. I wouldn't say super strict, but I shout at some people, and it's more fun than I make it sound to me. But we started having semi-regular Arma 2 sessions, so if you wanna join in on that, just PM myself, Craig or X from in the IRC, and we'll get you hooked up.
No worries. You
but as I say, that's for Arma 2, and we want to branch out to Arma 3 and some other games planned as well. But yeah.
No worries. I mean, you can also PM me about it, and I'll pass on the details too, if you need me to.
Yeah, it's all...
So, I mean, I'm usually, as long as you PM me, I usually will get back to you as soon as I can. It's the same thing if you do have any issues with something that I've done or said. I usually, 9 times out of 10, I will read it. If I reply, then I reply. If I'm not, then don't fear not, I have taken it on board. So, but that's with any of us, though. And yeah, that's basically all the projects and stuff that people have been doing at the moment. Let's see. I suppose we might have to move on to the next topic. Otherwise, I'm just fucking around with roads now. I still got minus 61, so I'm getting there. All right. So I'll risk the Alt tab to go on to our next thing. Yes.
That's fine.
Okay, so there we go. Oh, and I just Alt tabbed it. Oh no, wait, no. That's good. It's saved. It's saved when it Alt tabbed. So
it's fine. We're good.
Okay, I was about to wonder. Okay, maybe it only fucks up when I Alt tab at the wrong time. Oh well. But yeah, next topic, which is kind of related to one of the projects that I've doing at the moment, and I think people have done in the past as well. Sometimes it's the nature of the type of games that is, but how lewd is too lewd to stream on the channel is what we're moving on to now. For those who are catching my recent example is Sakura Spirit, which I do hope at some stage has some gameplay element in it, but I'm slow. My hope for that is slowly fading away.
It won't.
Yeah, basically, from what I can tell, it is a visual novel, which hopefully has a gameplay element in it later on. Where you play as a guy that gets transported into a parallel universe, and because he decided he wanted to get divine help for winning his judo competition. And I was like, okay, this seems all fair enough and everything. Within the first 10 minutes of the game, we have 2 fox girls running away with two female guards as underpants, and I'm just sitting there confused, wondering what's going on here. And then within...
Pretend like you don't enjoy it, Ram. SoulSilver.
I know, I have to admit it was still amusing to a degree. But at the same time, it got to a point where I was also sitting there going, it got even worse because suddenly one of the characters had fallen into a water and got wet, and then within the space of 2 minutes after that, you were lying in bed naked with her. You couldn't see anything, but it...
You didn't try.
Yeah, not that the game didn't try, yes. I'm with you there. And it got even worse. I think there was
Slime girl?
Yes, the slime girl, which I've given... I don't know... I think I've kind of slurred the boundary between Scottish and Irish accents, just to try to give a weird character to it. I think I originally aimed to give her a Scottish accent, but I think it just ended up being a weird hybrid. Because I can do Irish accents a lot better than Scottish, but when I'm trying to do Scottish, it lapses into Irish every now and again. So that's why it's this weird mix. And that, if it wasn't for the goo covering her and places strategically having more goo than others, you'd swear that I was playing a hentai game. That was how bad it started to get. So
you are playing a hentai game. It's just PG-13 hentai.
Oh no, I think it's MA15 actually, but because I don't think Steam allows any, as far as I'm aware, at least on my store. I don't know whether it's the same with the British store or the American store or even the Japanese store. You never know. In the Japanese store, they could actually allow hentai games on there. Is that another save, or are we having a crash? Anyway, But yeah, that hentai, that type of game is so very close. A network error.
I'll just ignore it now, just keep talking. It's fine, I'll deal with it.
So yeah, I personally think that if that hasn't already crossed a line, it's bordering on how lewd is too lewd. And this is this is coming from me, a guy that usually can have very interesting conversations in chat about what's going on.
I'm just going to quickly open a window. It's getting rather warm in here. I apologise to the podcast.
Yep, I start talking about lewd stuff, and Lexi has to cool down a bit. So, no, I only kid. It could be actually. This is also the other weirdness. I'm in the southern hemisphere. She's in the northern hemisphere. So, as you can currently guess, it's somewhere over there, winter down where I am. But yeah, so that. I don't know. I'm kind of the opinion that could be getting towards too lewd is too lewd. I think a few people in chat are still enjoying it though. Having it said that, but obviously I don't want it to get to the stage where we think that Dopelives is full of sexual deviance on top of just normal deviance. We'll just have to wait till Lexi comes back to get her opinion on this. But it all depends on the chat, really. And speaking of chat, they've just asked me how do I beat a giant spider. Which is funny.
Sorry about that.
Ah, it's all good. We would. But yeah, I was just saying that you had to open the window because the chat was getting a bit too hot in here. But that's all right. But yeah, no. As I said, even while I'm enjoying it, it is getting very close to being too lewd. But yeah, what are your thoughts, or any other game that's starting to get very close in that regard?
After seeing that, I kind of wanted to. Well, we've always had the mainstream as abiding by hitboxes or Twitch's rules, but you know we always have like off-site streams, and now we have XFOAM hosting what is essentially like a private stream, so we have our own rules, and like we have, you know. We've had porn on there and stuff before, so
porn on the private one's news to me, actually.
No. Well, it's usually like joke stuff, so I can't explain it to you if you haven't seen it. Really?
Is this Framstrong's midget screaming out?
It's kind of that kind of stuff. It's that kind of stuff, but basically, it's we're an adult community. We don't. Not gonna beat around the bush or stuff like that. When it comes to Twitch and stuff, we don't stream that kind of stuff because you're not allowed to. But I think when it comes to when we have no rules, Dopelives is fully capable of pushing the boundaries of what a stream is. And when it comes to stuff like Secure Spirit, that's obviously all that stuff like you're saying, the intentional goo placement is obviously made so that it can be played for younger audiences, and so that they can sell on Steam without being sued or what have you. But I don't think it's gone too far yet. I think Secure Spirit is possibly the limit, but I don't know if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I think Secure Spirit might possibly just be the final step that Steam will go to until they start like adding ratings and stuff, and then maybe they'll start selling like PG-18, I don't know, meat and fuck premium games. I don't know what the kids are playing these days.
Yeah, oh, I could tell you, but it's not going to be allowed on what we're talking about at the moment. That's something that is like no, and weird stuff like that. But yeah, no, I mean I know that's not the only game that's ended up happening in that regard. I mean, off the top of my...
I only caught yours.
Yeah, mine's probably been the most recent one. Jesus fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What else has there been then that's been too nude?
I think it's actually, to be fair, I think it's been a lot of just the visual novels that have been kind of in that regard. I think the other stuff that I know I have done, and for those who are wondering, there's a running joke that I got Flipping Kamikaze fired for this.
Oh yeah.
I was playing an adventure game called Phantasmagoria 2, and technically it's unrated in Australia, so but I can buy it freely on GOG, so I don't know why. But GOG kind of is. I think it's an old game, so I don't think they really care too much, and it's from an international site. Yeah, it's basically there was a couple of scenes in that, and then Flippin' Kamikaze had to go. Oh wait, no, my boss is wanting to talk to me now. I've got to go. Goodbye. And he disappeared, and then probably about an hour or so later, he was at home going, "Well, guys, I've been fired from work." So that kind of was the running joke, and to be fair, I did kind of feel a little bit bad about it until he realised.
Shit, you got him fired. God damn.
No, but he actually said that it wasn't because of me that he got fired. It actually ended up being because even though he was getting his work done, it was just the fact that he was watching the stream while he was working. That kind of.
I mean, it's your own fault, though, isn't it?
It is. To be fair, he reassured me that no, don't feel bad about it. I got fired not because what you were doing, what I was streaming might not have helped if the boss came in and saw it, but the boss, from what he's told me, didn't actually see it. So.
Irony. Okay, that's lucky.
But yeah, it was just ended up being because he was just watching the stream at work, and his workplace obviously thought, well, if you're obviously watching videos on the internet, you're not working, you're not getting your work done, regardless of whether you are or not. So
remember, guys, if you're watching streams at work, make sure you're actually allowed to with your employer, and you're not gonna get fired on our behalf, because that sucks.
Yep.
I don't want to hear about anyone else or anyone getting fired because of watching Dopelives. That would make me sad, especially if it's one of your streams, SoulSilver.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm being attacked by pirates now. How do I boat?
No, shoot them with your zappy gun. Pew.
I'm trying to. It looks like I
believe in the power.
I think we're just both. I know. I think it's kind of working. I don't know. Unless there's something else I can build.
I'm getting the hang of it, I think.
Yes.
Oh, trench coats showed up. Hello, trenchy coats.
Oh well. I know. I think looking at this, I think I will win, but my boat just keeps firing backwards and forwards with them, so I don't know what's going on.
The combat in this game isn't exactly complicated. It's literally just I shoot, you shoot, we all shoot for I shoot.
Yeah, it does look a bit like that. But yeah, no, yeah, pretty much. But I think if it wasn't for the fact that it was old and grainy, I think Phantasmagoria 2 probably did actually go too far, because that actually did show sex on the stream. So, and that's technically not allowed on the terms and conditions of the other thing, but we may have gotten away with it because it was in the... For a start, nobody saw it, aside from us, and it was within the context of the story, and you didn't really see much. So, so we could have gotten away with it because
no hot coffee.
That. Yeah, no, it wasn't explicit, basically. It was just basically like a couple of people moving up and down with some Dutch angles, and that's about it. But yeah, so
isn't it like a penis is PG-16, but a vagina is like 18 or something?
It's usually I think it's usually the other way around. Actually, it's I don't know why, but it's more. I think in most Western countries, from what I've noticed, it's more socially acceptable to see a naked vagina on TV than it is to see a penis.
Well, we should have a poll.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is lewder, a vagina or a penis?
Yeah, if people want to discuss that in chat, go for it. Not chat, sorry. I'm thinking that we're doing this live. We're not doing this live this time, guys. In YouTube, in the YouTube comments, if we enable them. Otherwise, we might try and do a poll or something later on, and then we might make.
Yeah, I was gonna say a poll.
Yeah, poll would be more accurate.
Yeah, long time poll.
Cool. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it also depends on what you guys want to see as well. I mean, to be fair, we quite, as long as it doesn't go into we're going to be kicked out of Hitbox, Twitch, live stream, wherever we are. I think we are kind of happy to push the boundary as much as we can, but obviously we want to try and err on the side of let's not give them a reason to keep an eye on us, just in case we do accidentally go over it and not realise it. So, at least from my point.
No, I agree. That's fair.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, no. As I said, feel free to comment in the comments or in the forums about it. I don't know if you want to make a thread. If you guys want to make a thread about this, and then we can talk it further. But but similar to how lewd is too lewd, let's go into how much is too much to stream of a project. So
and this is a big. I brought this because people are complaining about Sweet Pea playing Morrowind too much.
yes. Yeah, no, and I think people are starting to do that with Dark Souls. Well, people have always been doing that with Dark Souls.
Oh yeah, about the Dark Souls, yeah.
But Dark Souls being played too much on our channel has also been kind of a semi-running joke as well. So
yeah, kind of, yeah.
So we kind of joked that when the first Demon Souls came out, I think it was only myself and Scar that really streamed a couple of times. Scar, I think, streamed to the end, but I only streamed a couple of things going, look, this is fun, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Give it a shot. When Dark Souls came out, because obviously there was a PC edition of it, it was a lot easier to stream. I think nearly every streamer and his dog at least streamed it at least once, and I think we've had about 4 full through playthroughs of it. The two most famous ones being Sweet Peas and Scars, and then similar stuff happened with maybe not to the same degree, although I've been guilty of doing a lot of Dark Souls as filler, Dark Souls 2 as filler, and Scar's been trying to, and it's still interesting to watch Scar trying to do his no bonfire, no whatever run, but otherwise I think bonfires, no deaths. No deaths. No deaths.
No bonfires, no deaths. Nothing, basically.
We'll get there, right? Yeah. And that's still interesting to watch, but he acknowledges that it's probably more filler material than actual full-on project material. So he only does it
because everyone's played the game, so it's not like it's not novel for anyone.
Yeah.
It's not like a new thing.
But yeah,
I think takes away from your enjoyment of it.
Yeah, no, that's true. But in Sweet Pea's case, I mean, I enjoy watching Morrowind. All the times I tuned in, I was like, "Yep, no, this is great. This is fun. I'm happy to watch it." I know Morrowind's a good game, but what ultimately turned me off it was just how fucking stupid the interface was. If you ever want an example of an interface where you've made it overly complicated, Morrowind is a good example. Daggerfall is. The previous game to it actually had a complicated interface to it as well, but it kind of didn't feel as complicated. I think it's partially because of having all the fiddly bits with the new one. It kind of made it hard, and I think Morrowind was also the first one they did a console version for, so they kind of made it a little bit fiddly to use, so if you ever wanted to use a controller with it, then you wouldn't be missing out on any interaction, the same level of interaction as you would with the PC version, but that I think that ended up being that means you have to click through more menus, you have to do things. The only advantage the mouse had was that you could drag things real quickly or use shortcuts to get to certain things. So, but otherwise they're the same game.
I actually played Morrowind, so I can't give much input on this one, I'm afraid.
And I know people bitched about Oblivion's interface, but
oh yeah,
it was a hell of a lot easier to use than Morrowind's.
Okay.
It actually made sense. This is something that I've done very casual studies into, about how you've got to make sure your control system is as simple as possible while still giving you as much control over the game or whatever you're using as you need over it. If you make it overly complicated, or at least make it overly complicated for the commonly used stuff, then you've done a bad interface. At the same time, if you can't do anything with that interface in order to do stuff, well, then you've also done your interface wrong as well, because it's just like, well, how do I get to the start menu? Okay, well, you have to do X, Y, Z, blah, 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 and it's like, no, all you needed to do is have the start button. But it's just stuff like that. I mean, that's a completely different game design thing and whatever, but that's probably me going too far. That's a topic for another day, in all fairness. Okay, let's find a pilot. Whatever. Oh no, this is just the game talking now. Okay, so but with the other thing, so yeah, Sweet Pea's obviously been going through the whole game. He's been doing every single quest and all that, and that's like, okay, no, look, that's fair enough. I don't mind watching it. It's fine. It's some of it does help with background stuff, and I think Sweet Pea understands that some of Morrowind is background stuff. and not everybody would have gone through every single quest, which is nice because it's glad that someone's willing to go through as many quests as you can, just so you can showcase and show off the entire game. But it is like kind of like with Dark Souls or whatever. It's something that and it probably didn't help that he also did the other Morrowind games and Fallout as well. Is that after a certain time, if the only thing you do, and I think I'm guilty of doing this, I think all of us streamers are guilty of doing this at some stage, but depending on the game, it's got different variables of putting up with and whatnot. Is that if you keep doing the one game all the time, people are just without trying to do something else in the meantime or trying to do something new with that game. I can understand people starting to get bored with it because that's the only thing they see you doing.
Yep.
I think Wolf has gotten that recently to a degree with his GTA streams, in all honesty, as well. I think.
Oh yeah, people complaining
that all you do is stream GTA, and it's like, well, no, okay, well, fair enough. If people, it's great that he's just streaming GTA, but at the same time, yeah, it's just like, all right, well, why not every couple of sessions stream something else or do a multiplayer thing or whatever.
Variety is the spice of life, as they say.
But you also don't want to... that is true, but you also don't want to get to the same stage where I get to, where it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to stream all this variety, and then people get bored of just seeing variety all the time because you're not finishing your project or you're not sticking to the one thing, so people don't get enough time to get stick and be involved with that.
Yeah, I mean...
with a project.
That's why you have a project, which is... sorry, your accent is confusing me.
Yeah.
You have a project which is like the long haul. You try and play that when people at the same time, so people watch can they know when it's going to be on. And then you also have like little filler bits which you don't expect everyone to hang around for every single one. You just you like you with your Amiga games, there's no long whole plot in there, or like there's no story that you need to know before you play an Amiga game. You're just playing a video game, and people can tune in and watch that at their leisure. But with things like, for example, like me playing Psychonauts, I would like it if I could play with people, I'd like it if I could play to people who have seen the previous ones, or at least could give feedback based on those, just so you can get the fun things like running gags or just decent input from people. I feel as always from people who've watched the streams from beginning to end, and it's nice to build that kind of, once the relationship, that sounds a bit too serious, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. You build up. I mean, it's like people are expecting you to stream something around a certain time, or they know that you're roughly going to stream something around a certain time, and they're more likely to tune in if it's something that they're interested in. So that's all good. And I mean, yeah, no, as I said, my ones, I think, because I probably do a bit too much variety early in the morning. What's this? Get out of here, chat box. Because I do too much variety at the time that I do, it's usually like people are like, okay, all right, well, I'll just hang around and just have Soul on in the background, which I admit probably is part of the reason why I kind of had that little outburst the other day about are people actually watching, or they just want background noise. But I think that could have partially contributed to it as well. It's just like people are like, oh no, it's just random stuff. And when I do actually start doing a project, they're not ready to tune in, or they or whatnot, which is a bit weird. I think that's kind of what Killer is Dead kind of was suffering from. And for those who are watching, I am going to finish that. But it all depends on the day and the crowd and everything too. But yeah, but that's my problem. I'll probably go into the other end of the scale, which is like, okay, I just have too many projects. I need to stick with one a bit more often, which, depending on my mood, I usually am starting to get fairly good with it. So there's Killer is Dead and the Sakura Spirits is the ones that I've been concentrating on at the moment. If I can knock them out of the way, then most people are happy to do it, which is good.
Sakura Spirits has been fun to watch, I have to say. It's been very good.
It is. It's been full
enjoyed it.
It's for a visual novel. It's full of so much fucking spaghetti. If you think some of this weird stuff is, and not only that, you actually get to hear me voice act too, and
God. Yeah, that's what makes it.
And depending on the character, it can either be fairly good to, oh god, why the fuck are you trying to do this woman's voice? Either way, it still ends up being entertaining. That's the important thing. Ooh, I can build a concert hall. But that's the important look. Oh, that's the idea though. As long as you try to make your streams entertaining, even if it is filler or random or whatnot. I mean, and as long as you're enjoying it, then that's the main thing. But sometimes, yeah, you really got to change it up or stick to something. Otherwise, people will get bored. So, oh boy, I can production tools and stuff now. All right.
Can buy stuff from the woman, you know.
It's all
Her little arc.
That's good. It's probably best if I do it the way that I've been mucking around anyway, just because I kind of have to relearn what order to build things and do stuff in. So that kind of helps me out. I know people that have played Anno 2070 are probably screaming at me, going, "What the fuck are you doing? Why? You should have been doing this order and whatnot." But that's not the focus of this stream, guys. If we're going to do a proper Anno stream, then we'll probably do a proper Anno stream later on.
I don't think you can really properly stream Anno. It's such a slow-paced game. I mean,
yeah, oh yeah,
it's good to have in the background, though.
It's one of those good games where if you want to go out of your way to do filler, then you can. But if you are wanting to have it as an involved interactive stream, well then yes, you're probably going to have an issue with that. It's I know I have done tree nurseries. Okay, I know I have done SimCity on stream before, and
Oh, really?
yeah, that was mildly amusing for some people. It was SimCity 2000, by the way, guys, and people kind of enjoyed it. But I was also abusing the whole sign system, going, all right, so we've called this area the Alfina killing floors, or we've called this thing Jimmy's hideaway, or whatever. So kind of doing that just to go, okay, so this is X, this is Y, this is Z, this is what's happening, and try to get chat involved and try to build a whole story out of it. If you kind of do that, actually, to be fair, guys, this is kind of bleeding into our next topic, which is it the game or the streamer that makes the stream interesting? Which is like, yeah, so if you're trying to get people involved in some way, then usually you can find people will really get interested by it and whatnot, and go through there. So I kind of started getting people involved, like what should I build down here, what should the area should be going and whatnot, and that worked for SimCity in that regard. It was the time of day I was doing it in too, also it probably helped as well, because instead of the usual time that I'm normally on, it was probably closer to, well, my time, it was probably early to mid-afternoon, which I think would have caught a lot of the American audience, which would have been awake at the time, so there's more people to be involved, which is not a bad thing. I mean, one thing I've noticed is that there's slightly different crowds on each time of the day as well, which is good, because you don't always want the same crowd on at the same time of day. It just gives you certain people will prefer certain games depending on what mood they're in or what time of day it is anyway. So but using that as an example, I think for me anyway, it comes down to it all
comes down to nothing.
No, not all. No, it doesn't all come down to nothing. It all comes. I think it says, from my point of view anyway, it's this. I think it's the streamer that ends up making the game interesting, because you can have horrible, bad, uninteresting games, but if you've got the streamer, the streamer also has got to take the initiative to a certain degree with it as well, and actually go, okay, well, this streamer's streaming the game in a way that I find it entertaining, so that's all good. As long as there is enough people watching, then I'll start going in. With the example of SimCity, it also ended up being that we had a few disasters and everything, so they could see the passion with what we're doing and whatnot. And the other thing too is like I ended up taking that city, and we ended up wandering around in a Simcopter and actually physically flying around in that, so we can actually see all the areas and everything and
cool.
what we've built as well. So that kind of helped hype it up a little bit as well.
Oh yeah, sure. I can see that.
But yeah, it all comes Oh, wait, what? Oh,
Down
okay.
to nothing.
Yes, no, it all comes down to nothing. No, yeah, I think, yes, it all comes down to how the streamer's doing it, and the time of day. I think, actually, I'm going to amend what I said before. It's the streamer and the time of day. Because once you got the right...
What, that comes for audience interaction or for how good a stream is?
For how good a stream is, to be honest.
Really?
Because if the streamer's trying to interact... if the streamer's trying to stream in a certain way, and people are interacting with the streamer, then it can make... I reckon it makes even the dullest games more interesting, off the top of the head.
That's interesting.
Because then you can start getting the audience going, oh, why don't you do this in the game? So then you start actually doing different stuff that you normally wouldn't do in the game, and then it keeps going from there. So,
all right, I see. I think I see what you're saying now.
But yeah, that sounds good. Insufficient building materials. Oh no. But yeah, so yeah, it mainly is a streamer. Yeah, actually no, I'm going around in circles. I'm not making any sense. Yeah, basically it's streamer and the time of day. I'll stick with that.
Streamer and the time of day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Like, some people can make the boring games really interesting, and at the same time, some people only gel well with certain games. It varies. I like, personally, I found that I only gel well with certain types of games. Other ones, like Dungeon Keeper 2, people enjoy watching that, but it's really hard to keep that game interesting because of how monotonous some of the things in games should be. The best games for streaming are avoid monotony, so they kind of have this either a random element or just like an element of the game that's where things slowly evolve in some way, shape or form.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I don't go well with the games that kind of get, monotonous. I can't into keeping people occupied sometimes, unless in certain games. It really depends for me personally. So I think the thing that makes the stream interesting has to be 100% the streamer. I wouldn't say anything else. I think it's streamer based.
Cool. All right. Well, no, that definitely works. I mean, yeah, no, I think we have. At least, well, we both agree on that one. I mean, I still say it's the time of day as well, and I think from what you've said, you can kind of understand where I'm coming from with that. What's this? Central Statistics. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I don't know if anyone has a different comment or whatever. Feel free to put it in the comments below, or even ask about us, or create a thread on Dopelives, and we can continue any of the discussion from there. And speaking of which, we can speak of any of the other discussions here that we've talked about in this session. If you want to have a long-term discussion, we do recommend you go to dopelives.com and go to the forums and put a topic in there. That would be the easiest way to get us. We will, unless there's a weird hiccup or we just get too many idiots, we will probably do comments in the chat in the comment section for YouTube. Yes, and yes, we do expect 50 people saying, why isn't this Dopefish? Why aren't you playing APB and we need more Dark Souls? That's not the point of this one, unfortunately, guys. Not all streams have to be funny to be interesting or entertaining. That's the other thing to remember. And yeah, no, well, I think unless you've got another topic you want to throw in at the last moment, I think we're probably coming towards the end of what our first official Dopecast is. Aside from, how do you think it went?
What, the cast?
Yes. This isn't a rhetorical question.
Yeah. I was wondering if you were asking me some kind of deep philosophical question, because those are my favourite kinds of streams when we start getting into the philosophical stuff, but that's because of my background in philosophy and etymology and stuff. So I thought the podcast was good. Yeah. We need to work on we got through our topics. It's good that we made topics beforehand. We stick to them, discuss stuff. It's nice to have someone on to freshen up from time to time. And we played a video game in the background for those of you who need something to stare at, and for those of you who didn't, I hope the sounds of our voices were pleasant and enjoyable.
Yes. Yeah, yes, definitely. I mean, I think it went well. I mean, we could probably play Anno a hell of a lot better. For those who are wondering who was playing, this was, and you probably already guessed it. This is me actually playing. We might get, well, we will probably swap over whose view.
Yeah, I could do my perspective next time.
Yeah, so we'll keep swapping that around depending on what's going on. You never know. It depends on the game, though. Maybe not all games will need us to do that. But yeah, so we've reached the end. Yeah, as I said, yeah, we think we went well, but obviously that's us. But otherwise, yeah, if any comments, as I said, any comments about the topics that we've talked about, ideally in dopelives.com, or any feedback on ourselves from doing this DopeCast and or how we stream, feel free to add the comments either below in YouTube, or if you want to get a more direct answer, over in dopelives.com forums. Otherwise, if you are new to Dopelives and don't know where it is, feel free to join us. We tried to be welcoming of most new people that join up. Obviously,
more so lately, I think.
Yeah, more so lately. But yeah, feel free to come by, have a watch, say hello, and introduce yourself. And you never know, you could find another community to be involved with.
Yeah, just don't be stupid.
Yeah, oh, well, that goes without saying with most.
Yeah.
Look, there's a handy command you can type in if you go to our chat room called this is all one word, by the way, ! New friend. That should give you the skinny on what we expect from most people to what to do and to not to do as well. That list kind of gets updated semi-regularly anyway. I got caught out by the other day by having one thing taken out that I was used to being in there, but that's a different issue altogether. Those in chat who've been watching this know about that. But otherwise, we look forward to you guys listening to more of these Dopecasts, or seeing you in the channel.
Yeah, send your suggestions for topics to us, by the way. It'd be nice to know what people actually want to hear us discussing and who with. Your feedback's nice, but I think it's good that we discussed Lewish and the recent issues that we picked. I think we're on point.
Yep, well, most of the time anyway. There was still some ramble, but that's all good. Anyway, we better end the stream here now, guys, otherwise this is probably going to be... I don't know, I think YouTube's taken off their limit now, but I think if it goes for too long, they starts degrading the quality. So, otherwise, yeah, we'll catch you next time, sports fans. Next time.
Next time, sports fans. Next time.